Okay, everyone, we are back. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Today's topic, and I'm gonna approach this in a different way. I'm not here to ridicule Johnson Publishing. I'm not here to ridicule Ebony, even though I feel as if they were very adversive these past few years when it comes to the Black community as a whole, and did not operate in the best interest of the Black community. It's unfortunate to see an institution, not just a company, but an institution like Ebony in the way it did. Reason why is, I don't know if you guys have ever had the opportunity to read the book by John Johnson called Succeeding Against the Odds. And in that book, it tells the history of Johnson Publishing, or Ebony Magazine, from its founding to John Johnson passed away, I believe, in 2005. And you read that story, his story, and it speaks on the principles of what Johnson Publishing was founded on. And obviously, whoever took over Johnson Publishing, whoever was the senior editor, Jamillian Lamoot, was, excuse my language, I had a cough. They obviously did not read the book. They went from focusing on the best interests of Black people. As John Johnson said, the reason why he founded Negro Digest, was the original name, was so that Black people could see the images of themselves, the positive images of themselves in a magazine, in the media. Because as John Johnson stated, during his time back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, before the launch of his magazine, the only images of Black people, mainstream media, the only images of Black people on mainstream media was that of if you were either committing a crime or you're entertaining somebody, entertaining white people. So you're there for entertainment, or you're creating, you were committing a crime. That's the only way he got on the news. So John Johnson wanted to change that. So he went into a bank. John Johnson was born in Arkansas, ended up relocating to Chicago in the search of opportunity. And I've read the book several times. I believe when he made it to Chicago, he got a job for a Black-owned insurance company, which I believe was called Supreme Insurance Company. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that's the story. So he comes up with the idea of Negro Digest. He's going to the bank looking for a loan, and they're pretty much telling him, we don't loan to Negroes, the banks. So he goes to another bank. The bank told him that we'll give you the loan, but you have to have collateral. He's like, what is collateral? Basically, we give you this loan of $500. You got to have something to put up. So if you don't pay this loan, we take whatever. Shout out to Gregory White in the chat room, everybody. We take, whatever the collateral is. He says, okay. So he goes home, tells his mom. His mom just bought some new furniture. His mom puts the new furniture up as collateral. So he goes and gets his bank loan. So then another problem he had was selling the magazine. So many of the newsstands didn't believe that a magazine that had the images of Black people on it, positive images of Black people, wouldn't sell. They thought it wouldn't sell. So they wouldn't sell or offer his magazine at newsstands. So what he did, he called I think he's still working at Supreme at the time. tells all his friends, all his co-workers, hey, call these magazine stands and tell them that you want and you're requesting that Negro Digest gets placed and offered and sold on their newsstand. So the calls were overwhelming. They ended up offering Negro Digest. Negro Digest sells out, continues to sell out. And I remember in the book, he mentioned he was being interviewed, and he said something on the lines as, if the first edition of Negro Digest didn't sell, there wouldn't have been a second edition. So it did pretty well. So he got into cosmetics. Then he went to Jet magazine, which was my favorite. I don't know if you guys could, I have a testimony with Jet magazine. So I had the skill where literally when a Jet magazine came in, my grandma subscribed to Jet and Ebony. So when a Jet magazine came in, I could immediately open it directly to Beauty of the Week. So obviously the weirdos who took over Ebony, Jet, will consider that toxic masculinity, misogyny. And that's part of the reason why Ebony's bankrupt, because of the weirdos who took it over. But it is what it is. So Ebony and Jet was doing very well. Then he passed away, unfortunately, John Johnson, in 2005. His daughter took over, and that's when everything went downhill. Then you had the likes of Jamelia Lemieux, who completely ruined that brand. Because the thing people have to understand is, especially when you're dealing with business. Yes, we're dealing with corporate America. Yes, we are. But you have to know the difference between people who are sincere in building up your business and seeing you succeed versus people who are only concerned about themselves, which is a hard line to straddle because, again, when you're dealing with corporate America, they're really only concerned about stock price and profits. So, of course, you're going to have individuals in a corporation that's, okay, well, fuck it, I'm only out for myself. But there are some, like Jamelia Lemieux, I'm gonna call her out, who are only focused on their individual selves to the point where they're just selfish as hell. And Ebony Johnson Publishing hired people like this, and that's why they're going bankrupt now. You're not worried about the best interests of Black people. You know, the guiding principle of John Johnson when he started Negro Digest, again, was he wanted to put out positive images of Black people, where the average Black woman and man would see themselves when they go through the magazine. Versus when the likes of Jamelia Lemieux took over, she's only concerned about doing what she can do to push, to be a extended arm of propaganda for the Democratic Party. She's more concerned about getting a press pass to the White House to just hang out and take selfies with the Obamas and Miss Hillary Clinton. That's all they're concerned about. What can I do where I don't offend white people, where I just push this propaganda, this BS propaganda that's not benefiting Black people? I'm serving the best interests of, instead of the best interests of Black people overall, I'm more concerned about getting a press pass to hang out with Obama at the White House. Because obviously there's a certain tone that you have to have that's going to offend a lot of people if you're truly interested in the overall best interest of Black people. That if you talk that certain way, the Democratic Party, Republican Party, whatever you want to call it, you're not going to get a press pass to come hang out and take selfies. Because we already know when Obama was in office or when Hillary was running on her campaign, it was nothing but selfie time. There was no black agenda being pushed. Nothing was being discussed that would benefit the black community as a whole. It was just, let's take some selfies and let's dance, invite some celebrities, Beyonce and Jay-Z, and let's hang out. That's what Ebony turned into. That's what Ebony turned into. And went from servicing the best interests of black people to, okay, how can I leverage John Johnson's legacy or institution to boost myself so I can hang out at the White House with Obama and Miss Hillary Clinton. That's what it was about. And again, I understand people have individual careers, but what a lot of organizations have to understand is that I appreciate that, Dynasty. Your platform reflects the original theme of Ebony more than that trash they've been putting out. Exactly. It does. And what's crazy, free thinker, all of Tariq Nasheed calls them shea butter Twitter. That is a disrespect to shea butter. We need to find a different name. Shea butter offers way more value than the bullshit that shea butter Twitter puts out as far as the media. They've been real quiet lately with the so-called Dusty Hotep talk. Oh, Tariq and me and all these dusty, ashy Hoteps. They've been real quiet lately because slowly but surely their platforms are being shut down, going bankrupt, being bought by white-owned or non-black-owned corporations. So what can they say? Meanwhile, the likes of me, Tariq, we're growing. I mean, seriously, we're all growing. So there are platforms where they, come with all types of just nonsense and, dusty, ashy Hotep, the toxic black male, the toxic black masculinity is the reason why Jussie Smollett had to lie about Donald Trump supporters beating him up, those type. They're slowly losing steam. They're slowly losing the platform. They're shrinking. But the likes of me, Tariq, others are steadily growing. Steadily growing. So like you said, there shows that it's a market for real black media. And I think, and see, the issue with people who worked in old legacy black media, they think black people are stupid. And what they do, they go on these platforms and they have these little stupid symposiums. And, all they want to do is intellectually masturbate and talk about all their degrees. And I got a master's from here and I'm qualified to talk about the politics. And, I served on the Obama campaign as a advisor. And they just want to have all this intellectual masturbation. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what have you produced? And they don't produce shit. They haven't produced shit. Nothing. The other one is, what's the other guy? Roland Martin. That's another one. Roland Martin's another one. Again, they just want to come on and talk like, talk about the degrees and how the qualified they are. And it's like, then you look at the resume and it's like, okay, you went here, that place went bankrupt. This platform shuttered. This place went bankrupt. This platform where you were senior editor, that shuttered. So they have nothing but L's on their resume, nothing but losses on their resume. But then they want to come to you and talk to you like they're the professionals and they know what they're doing. But it's nothing but losses on their resume. That was old black media. And these types of old black media will get recycled to different platform, end up at places like Ebony for some reason. And then, people want to be surprised why they go bankrupt. It's like you didn't produce, you do a great job at intellectual and resume masturbation. But then wherever you go, like it gets destroyed or it goes bankrupt, it falters. And then you leave and these places, they just can't recover. But if you follow the guiding principles of if Ebony Magazine, Johnson Publishing would have just stuck to the guiding principles of Johnson Publishing, they wouldn't have been in this situation. Now, a lot of people want to blame, well, technology and the internet and all that. Nah. In this situation, Johnson Publishing just wasn't true to the Black community as a collective. They weren't interested in the best interest of the Black community as a collective. That's what it is. The only reason why, let me say this, the only reason why Johnson Publishing didn't go bankrupt sooner is because they rode the Obama hype. Then they were trying to ride the Hillary hype, but nobody expected Trump to win. Then the true colors of the Democratic Party and, the Clintons and, everything just started coming out and people are like, hold on. This Black media, they're not serving the best interest because they're serving the best interest of people that don't have our best interest. So then they start going to alternative platforms and saying, F Ebony, F, Johnson Publishing. And there's no recovering to that because the cover's blown now. So, Johnson Publishing was more interested in serving the best interest of people who do not have the best interest of the Black community at heart, who have a well-documented history of being aversive to the Black community as a whole. So how can you support an institution like Johnson Publishing? That's what happened. So you have that, just terrible hiring decisions. You're hiring the wrong personnel who are more concerned about brown nosing, like Jamelia Lemieux, who are more concerned about brown nosing with those who do not serve the best interests of Black people. So they could so-called, they're just, it's all an illusion. They think by doing that it's going to boost their career, but it hasn't. It's done the opposite. So you have all that. Yeah, you're bound to fail. So the 8 years Obama was in office, that was pretty much a lifeline. They were hoping that would continue. If Hillary was to get elected, she didn't. Trump got into office. Black people start just seeing, all these fakes for who they truly were and truly are, how they don't have the best interests of Black people at heart. And they lost support, which is well-deserved. I mean, which they're just Black people supporting institutions like this. These institutions, these companies like Johnson, the new Johnson Publishing does not deserve our support. Now, the old Johnson Publishing Company, the old Ebony, the old Jet deserved our support. But this new situation, Nah, they did not deserve our support. So really now the only old black media that's out there that's black owned, I think, is Essence. And there's another one I think that it's not the Root. I think it's another one. It's another online platform. See. So I'm on the Root right now. I swear, all they do is just talk about Maxine Waters and her outbursts. Maxine Waters and I'm reclaiming my time. That gets more press versus what black people are really going through and facing in LA. Being heavily gentrified out of LA. Skid Row is the highest homeless population in America, majority black. They're not covering the real issues that are affecting black people and what we need to do. Instead, they're more concerned about Maxine Waters and her outbursts. That's legacy black media now. If Maxine Waters gets up and yells at Congress, that's gonna be on the cover versus like, look, like the situation for black people in LA is not good. Like this is what's going on. So this is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with legacy black media. So don't act like why you're surprised that you're going bankrupt and not getting support. Because black people aren't this stupid. Even though you like to pray, talk about all your degrees and you did all this and did all that, and try to make yourself seem like you're smarter. But black people aren't stupid. So that's what we're dealing with. The reason why Ebony went bankrupt is because they moved away from the principles of the founding father, which is John Johnson, and went into covering nonsense. They went from John Johnson, who said he wanted to show the images of the average black woman, and he wanted the average black woman or black man to see themselves in his magazine, the positive images, to let's support the people who have a documented history of not supporting us. That's what happened. And that's why they're in the situation that they're in. But again, I'm hurt because again, I'm a fan of John Johnson. You guys need to read his book. It's mandatory reading, Succeeding Against the Odds. Everyone needs to read that book. Succeeding Against the Odds. Shout out to Gregory Wyatt for the super chat. Everybody needs to read that book. But aside of Essence, there's one more black-owned media that's mainstream, not the Root. It's but what's crazy now, like the majority of the so-called black-owned, this majority of the so-called black media outlets are non-black owned. The Root is owned by Univision, Hispanic outlet. Same thing with Very Smart Brothers. They're owned by Univision, a non-black outlet, Hispanic. I can't think of the other one, but that's what we're dealing with. Shout out to R2O for the super chat. Inso BZKKW, what's up? Okay, you got Atlanta Black Star, the Griot. There we go, the Griot. The Griot is black owned, I believe. The Griot is still black owned. Yeah, Embassy owned it. But yeah, I think Brian Allen now. Yeah, Brian Allen owns Negrio, I believe. So it's black owned now. But it just sucks to see an institution like Johnson Publishing filing for bankruptcy. It sucks. Like it's sad. It really is. After reading his book and learning his story, like you don't want to see a institutional organization go out like that. But it's a necessary evil because of the direction it was going in when you have people who do not have the best. I mean, basically, people who were hired over at Johnson Publishing obviously did not have the best interest of John Johnson at heart. That's what it is. They didn't care. And that mistake proved to be fatal. After John Johnson passed away. You know, I worked in corporate America for 11, 12 years. Each company I worked for they all started off as small mom and pops. And they just, even though they change, they adjust to the different climate or time, they still grow because they stick to the fundamental policies that form the company. And with with Johnson Publishing, that didn't happen. They went completely left field, completely. Peace, everybody. They got away from it. That's what happened. They got away from it. You know, they got away from it. I think to the point that I seriously doubt that every I would say I seriously doubt that every new employee, because when I worked in corporate America, we had to read like the book, pretty much that outline, you know, the culture of the company. We had to read the book. There was a book that we had to read that again outline and discuss the culture of the company. I seriously doubt the at the new employee orientation at Johnson Publishing, they didn't have to read Succeeding Against the Odds. Ebony Jet is part of Johnson Publishing. But everybody called it. Everybody knew it was coming. You know, the principles of the company. You know, when every company was founded, including Johnson Publishing, Negro Digest, whatever you want to call it, there were the founding principles of that company. And no matter what changed, no matter what happened in regards to the environment or the climate, you stuck to the principal objectives. And I guarantee you Johnson Publishing didn't stick to those principal objectives that John Johnson left when he founded the company, or established when he founded the company. I guarantee they did. I guarantee they didn't. You could just tell by the damn magazine and how it was ran and who was hired. You just tell. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to come on and share that again. This is bittersweet, if that's the correct term. Because again, I'm a fan of John Johnson. I'm just not a fan of the direction that Ebony or Johnson Publishing was moving in these last few years. But again, I'm a fan of John Johnson, and I just hate to see what this black man built, what he was able to build during his time, and how he started from a $500 loan to being, you know, worth 8-9 figures. In fact, I want to say at one time he was the richest black man in the world. In fact, I want to say at one time John Johnson might have been the richest black man in the world. So he started off $500 loan to being the richest black man in the world, allegedly. I think he was. to now your legacy, the institution you built, the company you built, being finished for the most part. It's sad. Again, it's bigger than just it's the 21st century and paper magazines can't make it. It's bigger than that. I'm telling you, it's bigger than that. It's just they stopped serving in the best interest of the Black collective. That's what it is. That's what it is. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Shout out to somebody from the UK. SBL Dating, Black Dating app. Hey, shoot me an email. If you got your own Black dating app, you're more than welcome to come on the show and talk about it. As long as you ain't trying to, you're not trolling like the other guy that was trying to sell blade pills, superhero pills. As long as you're not trying to sell some superhero pills, you're more than welcome to email me and come on the chat. So yeah. So everyone, thank you for joining. Until next time, Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Peace.